Welcome, everybody, to our new podcast. This is about a story of a woman who invented a cure for cancer by mutating the rabies virus. But even though it cured every single cancer, it mutated further and turned everybody into zombie-like creatures. They got sensitive to the sunlight, and their whole bodies changed, and somehow they got super powerful and fast.
Are you doing I Am Legend?
And they were
now?
called Wait, no. This is my own story. I totally made this up all on my own. It has nothing to do with that movie starring Will Smith.
Well, who mentioned Will Smith?
You did. I'm pretty sure you did.
Welcome, everybody, to our wonderful podcast. We have cleared 20 podcasts at this point. We are 20 plus.
Yeah.
So another episode of the Evil Safety Dudes. I'm one of your hosts, AJ Hanscom. I'm joining the IBC Podcast Fort Studio / Awesome Castle with Aaron Iacino and OSHA Authorized Outreach Instructor. Today,
What are we doing today?
we're doing some fun stuff today. We're gonna go over some more OSHA stuff.
Kind of the same vein as our episode
Yeah.
20, where we did the top 10 violations 2020. We're going to do 2 more top 10 lists, and then what else do you have in store for us?
So we got some top 10 lists, and then we got some OSHA citations.
Okay, like the top amounts of 2020?
Yeah. There's some big numbers thrown
man,
around out there, so
yeah.
some hefty citations, penalties.
Yeah, and we're bringing this to you, as AJ said, from the podcast fort, and check it out one day when you're here, because it's contained within our training center downtown in Sioux City, Iowa. So state-of-the-art 100-person training center. So
Yesterday in our OSHA 30, we identified the podcast fort as probably one of the largest combustible hazards we have.
in the room, with the flammable materials.
Yeah, we were talking about doing hot work and setting up a hot
Oh,
work
that
zone
would be
and
bad
perimeter.
if someone welded right by our podcast.
Yeah,
fort.
exactly, because we were like, no, everything's pretty good, and then everybody was like, well, except for that, and then we were like, oh, yeah, except for the giant flammable podcast fort.
Yeah. So, the entire show, even though you know what we're doing today, the entire show, we are called the Evil Safety Dudes. And we're about all things OSHA, how not to die at work, anything worker health and safety related we talk about on the show.
We're more than just OSHA, though. We're cool dudes. So, Aaron, I
We're
haven't seen
evil
you
dudes.
for a bit. You got anything going on? How have you been?
I've been doing good. This weekend, I'm competing in a jiu-jitsu competition that we're hosting here in town. And my oldest daughter's competing for the first time. My son's competing for the second time.
Dang.
And they
So
had
shout out to the Iacino family.
Yeah. Wish us luck in all of one combat. And they actually had a 41-year-old plus category for me.
Oh, dang.
Masters 2.
Masters 2.
They call old people masters in jiu-jitsu, which is really cool.
Okay.
Because it doesn't mean I've mastered jiu-jitsu.
No.
It just means I'm old and they're saying it nice.
You've leveled up.
In age.
Yes, you got there. You did it. Good job.
So hopefully I'm going to wreck some old dude this weekend. Saturday. Be there.
Saturday.
Watch Aaron Iacino put on pajamas and grapple with another grown man in his pajamas.
For the television remote to decide what they're going to fall asleep in front of.
Because the dog was pooping in his yard and these 2 neighbors fought in the grass.
That's it. It's on.
All right. What about you, man? What's new with you?
Well, I'm just super pumped that things are getting nicer out. And a couple of my buddies from a few of the other jobs and places where I visit and do safety, they've been wanting to go out and do some bass fishing. So
nice.
I'm ready. Problem is the water's still only like 35 degrees, so bass fishing's not quite there yet. I'm like chomping at the bit. I'm ready to go.
Are bass like me? They don't want to come out when it's cold?
I don't know, man. Like, from what I was reading, I guess you could even go like ice bass fishing. It's just you got to know what they're after. It's a lot easier when it warms up because then they just start eating everything. So.
Oh, I got you. It's more about their appetite than they hate the cold.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Fishing's nice, relaxing, get outdoors.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some more outdoor activities myself.
Pumped.
All right. Well, these top 10 stuff is pretty crazy. Last time we covered the top, the most citations per category.
Yeah.
But the first one we're doing is a little different. What top 10 list is this?
So this is OSHA's top 10 serious violations for 2020.
Cool. And let's cite our source. Where are we getting our info from?
So this is a publication made by the National Safety Council called Safety and Health, and this is their April 2021 edition of Safety and Health.
Cool. So thank you to NSC for putting out cool magazines and making.
If you guys want to sponsor us, send us a hat, or something,
Yeah.
like some pencils. Like a whistle. What else? What else?
You're
do people
pretty cheap, man.
send in the mail? Yeah, well, yeah.
I want like gift cards to like Mexican restaurants.
There you go.
I need carne asada.
Yeah, I'm fueled by tacos.
Yeah,
that's how I exist.
but yeah, they put out good stuff and makes it easy for us for show content. So let's go backwards though. Like
okay, so last time I just like started right away.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it like Casey Kasem style. We'll start at the end and then go to the beginning.
Top 10 categories of serious violations.
Yeah.
What was number 10?
Okay, well, so they say right in here before they get going, they say OSHA defines serious as one in which there is a substantial probability that death or serious physical harm could result, and the employer knew or should have known of the hazard. So the number 10 hazard that was cited was machine guarding.
And in my experience, assisting our clients through OSHA citations, serious violations are the most common ones that I see.
Yeah, I would agree with that. OSHA's, yeah.
I see it other than serious every now and then. But when they hit you, it's a serious one.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's kind of the reason they're looking is to see if somebody could have gotten hurt.
So most common citations are serious, and the most common one in that in 2020 was machine guarding. So,
well, number 10.
Number 10. So they had people with machines that employees had access to moving parts which could cause harm that were not guarded.
Right.
And you and I see that all the time. Now, was that a construction or general industry? Does it say?
It says it is the general industry. It's 1910.212.
Yeah, it makes more sense. There's more machines in general industry. All right, what was number 9?
Number 9, clocking in at 40 more citations than the previous at 1167. We had fall protection training requirements for construction,
which has made the top 10 now for 2 or 3 years, where OSHA is specifically targeting fall protection training.
Yep.
They're no longer cool. They never have been, but now they're really getting on folks for just throwing harnesses at guys at new hire and go, oh, make sure you wear these, and they don't know how to put them on and adjust them, and they don't know what to tie off to and when to tie off and at what height to tie off, and they don't know what to do and not to do with their lanyards. And man, it's a mess out there with fall protection, isn't it?
I agree. You walk up to somebody, hey, don't tie into that sprinkler line. That's not something to tie off into, and they just give you that deer in the headlights look.
Or they get mad at you. You said tie off, and I tied off. It's never good enough for you, you evil safety man. You just can't be pleased, you power-tripping mall cop.
So-and-so.
You OSHA mall cop.
Well, you know, I like to Paul Blart it up.
Yeah, man. We should get little segues when we do inspections.
It's happening.
And roll around with, like, we already got reflective vests on.
We do.
We just need to say, like, mall cop, OSHA compliance.
I want a hard hat with a red spinning police light on the top.
Yeah. So, you know, and to be honest with you, I'm glad OSHA's focusing on it because it's a big issue that I see out there. And it's still the number one killer in construction industry, is it not? Falls?
In construction, I believe you are correct.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been knocked off that list since I've been doing safety. You know, I could be wrong, but
I believe you're correct.
And I think it's still in the top 5 in the general industry. Top 5 ways to die, most likely. Falls, slips, trips, falls.
Probably.
All right, so they're focusing on training. All right, what was the next one?
Number 8, coming in about 50 points more than the last one with over 1,200 citations, was PPE and life-saving equipment in construction.
Okay. Did they give any details on that or no?
They just say dash specifically eye and face protection.
All right. Well, you know as well as I do, when you go on a construction site, you see a guy grinding. You know, he doesn't have a face shield on.
No.
I mean, it happens.
It's rare to even see him with safety glasses on.
I just was on a site doing a construction audit the other day, and there's a guy grinding some all thread, and me and the local safety guy just walk right on by him, and I go, I said, hey, he's supposed to have a face shield on. And then the safety guy goes, oh. And he goes over and said, hey, put a face shield on. And and the guy was cool. He was like, he went and did it, which is nice. He didn't, cuss at us.
No big fit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So.
That makes it so difficult.
But anything throwing a spark, man, anything throwing flying objects, you really need to protect your eyes. And
for sure.
Safety glasses don't cut it, and just people don't get that.
No.
No. Those are for impacts. They're not for flying objects or chemical splashes. I say this all the time in
safety training, but in 2019, I had 4 different people go in for rust ring removal surgery, and in every single one of those cases, they got something metal in their eye, and they were all wearing safety glasses.
Rust ring removal.
Yeah. They got
Triple R.
Rust ring removal. Yeah.
Triple R.
That's quite the alliteration.
Yeah. And they were all wearing safety glasses.
All of them. All 4.
Yeah.
safety glasses in every single case. But again, just like you said, they were just wearing them just to wear them. It's not like they thought about the hazard and then was like, oh, I should get goggles or I should get a face shield.
Right.
They just had them on. Just
Yeah.
like, eh.
Yeah, well, anymore you got to wear safety glasses almost everywhere you go.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Number 7, coming in with 150 more citations than the last one, was powered industrial truck cited under the 1910.178. They don't say anything else. It literally just says powered industrial truck, 1910.178.
And we know, I mean, last 2 days, yesterday I taught a power industrial truck instructor course. Day before that, power industrial truck instructor course.
Yeah.
I can see those slides in my sleep. And I know when they did a 3-year study on the top citations that they give out, it was stuff like operator training was the number 1. Just throwing someone on a forklift with 0 training.
Yep.
And operating in a safe condition, storing stuff securely, not doing pre-use inspections, doing training, but we counted there's 22 things in the OSHA reg that your training program has to hit to be compliant certification level training.
Yeah.
22 points.
That's pretty big.
That's kind of daunting, you know. Everyone out there doing forklift operator certifications for your company, audit your program to the OSHA standard. Make sure it's hitting all 22 of those things that OSHA says you have to be covering in that program. And also make sure you got knowledge, training, experience to train. Else they will
be a trainer.
They will not even validate your training.
Right.
You know. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me because that's been part of OSHA's national emphasis program for a long time to focus on forklifts.
Oh yeah.
And I can imagine seatbelts were probably a cause in there. Probably operating damaged forklifts.
Oh, I could for sure see that.
Yeah. I don't know what else, you know. Modifications.
I mean, storage. Modifications was got to be huge.
Yeah.
People drilling holes in forks. People making their own attachments.
Making their own rain hoods. Blocking their vision.
I've seen some really neat homemade attachments that I actually just like, I felt bad. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. This is super illegal, but this has got to go.
We had a client here in town. They had a welding crew. They made really, really, really awesome attachments, so much so that certain equipment manufacturers were asking them to make them for them.
Awesome.
But again, without engineering, like rating and, you know.
And then you still got to contact the manufacturer and say, hey.
Yeah, we got to be careful.
Yeah, these are our engineering weight ratings. This is our
you know what else?
Welders.
Maybe free rigging.
Oh, yeah. Free rigging, yes.
I can't tell you how many times. I mean, I've done it myself until I learned, but putting rigging directly on the forks.
Yep. You can't ever hang a strap or a hook or even a chain or anything. It can't be draped over the forks. You got to have an actual attachment to rig under the forks.
I see that all the time, and I also see the loop of the synthetic fiber sling put on the fork.
Right on the fork.
I mean, it just seems like it's natural.
Yeah,
but it's illegal.
It is.
All right, cool. Well, what's next?
So coming in with over 300 more citations than the last is lockout tagout in the general industry.
Okay, no surprise there.
Yeah, no, that makes super sense.
And without them telling us, I could just guess. No authorized training, no machine-specific lockout tagout procedure, no policy.
Yeah, maybe no
slash
company
program.
Yeah.
No affected training. Maybe the locks weren't identifiable, or you know.
And it could have all been, well, not all, but I'm gonna guess several of these are post-incident. So OSHA shows up to somebody who's already been sucked into the machine, and they're like, you weren't even doing lockout tagout.
That's probably number one.
The reason they're there.
You didn't do anything.
Yep.
You know.
They show up.
We worked a couple of those recently.
Very recently we had some of those. You guys heard us talking about them a couple weeks ago.
All right, what else you got after that one?
All right, coming in with about 200 more citations than even the last one is respiratory protection in the general industry.
Which makes sense for 2020 because it was the height of the COVID pandemic.
Well, help me out. We talked about this just a little bit ago. Was it 32 or 34 million in citations?
I don't remember.
Yeah, they put out over $30 million in citations they did for just COVID.
I just know it's real because we worked real cases where OSHA was actually busting people in our town for at least 4 violations.
Oh, yeah. At least.
What do you think the top 4 are?
Well, I think the number 1 was issuing respiratory protection without training.
Okay, no training on the specific equipment.
Oh, a policy.
Not having a respiratory protection policy.
Probably not doing respiratory protection evaluation before they went ahead
Medical
and issued.
evaluation, not doing the medical eval.
And then
There's one
fit
more.
tests.
Yep. That's what they were hitting everybody on, because everybody was just throwing N95s at their employees like candy and like, slap this on your face.
Wear it. You'll be safe.
Put on your face diaper.
How do I wear it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just put it on.
It's self-explanatory.
What's the little metal thing over my nose? I don't know.
You know, in OSHA, traditionally in disaster situations did not put on their compliance hat and put on more of a consultation hat to help. But this was such a big, long one, they did both. Yeah. They offered a lot of consultation to employers, but, yeah, they were still going to slam you for all of those respiratory protection violations. You would think maybe they'd cut you some slack because it's this crazy, like, actual worldwide
pandemic,
crazy thing that most people have never seen anything like this.
It was.
But they're like,
nah,
we don't care. You broke our rule. We're getting you.
Well, yeah, and I wonder, like, how often the inspector took that sort of thing into account. If they were like, nah, this is a medical place. You should know better when it comes to respiratory protection.
Twice as many people slide as they busted.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't know.
But what number is that?
That was number 5. So we're down to the number 4 pretty soon.
So there's still, though, maybe they cut some people some slack, but they were still hammering on
That's one of the top 5 citations.
Serious citations. All right.
That's right, serious.
What's number 4 then?
Number 4, coming in with just under 100 more citations than the last, was ladders in construction. It doesn't get specific, so it just says ladders.
Well, if I could guess, I would say
you can go for it.
Using damaged ladders.
Okay.
Not doing a pre-use inspection.
Okay.
Standing on the cap or the top step
There
of an
you go.
A-frame. Not putting the extension ladder 3 foot over the area they were transferring to.
Getting off on them, yeah.
Not securing extension ladders. I mean, this is just the stuff we see like
all the time,
every day.
Every now and then, I'll still see an extension ladder slid apart into single rails.
Oh, single rail, yeah.
And then they're just using those.
Yeah.
I don't see it as often, but I still see it.
Yeah.
I think I've seen one in 2020 already. Well, I mean, I say already. We're already in April, so we've been here a minute.
All right, what's next?
All right, we're in the top 3 now.
Ooh.
Top 3. So coming in at number 3 with 100 more citations than the last was the Hazard Communication Standard for General Industry.
Okay, no surprise there. HazCom.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I've ever voiced this on our podcast, but I think that's a terrible name.
I agree. Awful name. We were just talking about that in my OSHA 30. I totally took your speech and was like, haha.
I was teaching a HazCom class today, like right before I came here.
Yeah.
And people don't know why they're there.
Well, it doesn't make
if you're
sense.
like, show up tomorrow for a hazardous communication course. People don't know what we're going to talk about.
What hazards are you communicating to me?
If I say fall protection or ladder safety, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Lockout, tag out, machine guarding,
Hazard
trenching,
communication
excavation.
is like so general, it could be any safety topic.
Yeah.
Any safety topic.
We should write to OSHA. Imagine if you and I actually got them to change the name to chemical safety or something like that.
Oh, we'd be the chemical safety bros.
Yeah.
And then
there was
real
already the chemical
brothers,
bros.
They would write to us and be like,
good
job.
They would sue us.
No, they'd make a song about us.
We would jam with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'd be a pretty good time.
Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me. So what's your guess on specifically, through your experience on auditing clients and seeing where they were amiss?
The big 2 we've already said a million times. The first 2 is always training and a policy.
Yeah.
So I would say they did those 2 first.
In my class today, the company was like, all right, we're level 0. Zilch.
That's awesome for most places. Like, people don't like to admit that.
We are probably not in compliance with anything you're going to say. So, you go ahead and give us your speech, but by the end of this class, I want an actual checklist of what we got to do.
That's
so I
pretty
just
cool.
taught the course on that format, and I started with policy. Get company rules. Get adopted, fine-tuned policy / program on your site's chemical safety rules. Then I said, next, get a chemicalist inventory.
Nice.
And then next, see how small you can make that. What chemicals do you actually have to have?
Dude, that downsizing is hard, too.
Yeah. And then get the current, accurate safety data sheets. And then employee training. And so we made a nice little checklist for them. But those are the top things that get hit when OSHA looks at that.
Yeah.
No access to safety data sheets. not the right safety data sheet, not the right chemical PPE. It's just standard all the time.
Yep. The other one is labeling.
Oh, yeah.
I see that everywhere I go.
Yeah, you got some kind of chemicals in an unlabeled bottle.
Well, because they only ship you the chemical in like a 30-gallon plastic tote. And then you've got to go get a spray bottle and fill it, and they're not sending you labels. So it's up to you to figure it out.
Right. All right, what's the next one?
All right, number 2 coming in at about 300 more citations than the last.
Wow.
Is scaffolding in construction.
No surprise there. None of these are surprises for us.
We are not surprised, folks.
We're not surprised by anything
This list is not shocking.
that OSHA is saying because it's all the same stuff we see.
Yeah.
Now, let's get detailed on what do we see on scaffold issues in construction. We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
What do you can go first.
Not fully planked.
Yeah, 100%.
Constantly.
Yeah, you got one board or one prefab deck on a 5-foot wide scaffold, and 100%.
The one I've seen twice now in a row is guys will take one plank and put it on the ladder access of prefab.
Okay.
So it's just like a middle step so they can get up to the next level.
That's weird. I see them do that all the time for a workbench.
Just sit down on it, have a little lunch or something.
No, I actually like to work off of it. They need like a table, and so you got those rungs there. So
I can see it.
They'll grab one of the prefab decks, and so they got about 2 to stand on, and then they got this nice little table.
It's just hanging out.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go with improper access. Either they got like a walkthrough and no attachable ladder, or they got over a 24-inch step to the first built-in ladder rung.
Right, so the screw jacks or something are like I've got it way up.
All right,
fall protection.
Yeah.
Those guardrail systems, never there.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Not having all the unprotected sides guarded up.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you will see like just the back, but then the sides will be open, or they'll only put up like a top rail, and that's it.
Right.
It's usually pretty incomplete. How about you? You got any more?
Yeah. Not appropriate base plates / mud sill.
Oh, for sure. Stop
You
that
know,
settling.
they got that
displacement.
pole directly on the ground, or they actually do got a base plate, but they're on dirt, gravel, and no mud sill.
So this is one that's been coming up often. People have been asking me, "Hey, AJ, you know this company, or you ever work with these guys? We're going to hire them to come and do our scaffold build." I'm like, "Okay, that's great. Like, I personally don't know them or work with them, but it's cool that you're hiring a professional. That's awesome." And they're like, "Yeah, we just want to make sure it gets done right." And then I'm like, "Well, who is going to be the competent person that inspects this every day?"
Right.
And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've run into that where when we had the floods out here, professional scaffold builders were coming in from far away, and they were building, 30 different little scaffolds on site, and then they'd go, and no one was there that was a competent person to inspect them daily.
Yep. Somebody's got to be there.
So I'd say the lack of training for user or builder and lack of competent person inspection are probably in those top citations.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah. Well, you ready for the number 1?
Yeah, let's do it.
So here's where things get surprising, sir. At over 2,000 more citations than the number 2 spot.
Wow, that's crazy.
The
That's
number
the
1
biggest
spot
jump.
comes in with over 2,000 more at 4,373 violations. I know you already know what it is. Fall protection in construction under general requirements.
So you were being sarcastic when you said it was going to be a surprise.
Oh, I just meant surprise as in like the number. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that 2,000 was
fall
like
protections.
yeah. I know you're not going to be surprised. Yeah, no.
If you would have said something like, failure to electronically submit your 300A information by June 1st or whatever, I'd be like, wow.
What?
They started really hammering down on
right,
that.
yeah,
Huh?
there
okay.
they go.
Failure to take the M off your SDS book.
Oh, oof.
I would have been
ouch.
surprised.
I was just on a big name construction site 2 days ago, and they all had MSDS. Big
Ooh, they're
going
to kill people with M's.
M's.
Them M's are going to
Watch
kill
out for
people.
them M's.
If you
However, it is kind of like I mean, that means your books haven't been updated for like 8 years.
No, it's bad. You don't want to have it, but it's funny to joke around that like that somehow is going to keep people safe by taking the M's off.
Yeah, take those M's off.
All
Get
right.
some yellow marker.
So that is the top 10,
That's the top 10.
most serious violations of 2020.
Are you ready for the next list?
The next list is the bad list,
It's
right?
the willful violations.
Willful and repeated, or just willful?
Top 10 willful violations fiscal year 2020.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's run through
So
these.
a willful violation, everybody, if you're not up to par, says one committed with an intentional disregard of or planned indifference to the requirements of OSHA.
Yeah, you're like, I know the rule and I don't care.
Screw the rules at number 10.
OSHA somehow, I always wondered how they would do this. I mean, I got some good ideas how they could. But to me, they somehow got to prove you knew it, though.
Right, so maybe if you were like a certified operator. And
Yeah,
they'd be like,
that's
hey,
where
you went through
training could bite you.
Yeah.
If you got an OSHA 30, because they ask for training records.
Yeah.
And if a guy's trained, he has to prove he's trained, or the foreman who made the bad call, was trained. I think OSHA could probably use that and say, you knew. You were trained.
Right.
So because you were trained and you still told that guy to jump in that trench with no shoring or climb on top of the building with no fall protection, and they died, because you were trained, you knew, and so now it's willful.
I could see that. I could also see OSHA getting on site because, somebody was like, I keep telling my boss or my foreman that we can't do this because it's wrong, or we all went through class, and like in the tattletale report, it actually says that they kept getting told it was wrong and they did it anyway.
That's hearsay, though. I mean, your other part where it was like, because we all went through the class, if they could obtain those course records, then I think they could prove it. But
yeah, because then the guy would, who knows?
We should pick an OSHA compliance officer's brain on how they prove they had plain indifference to the law, how they knew and decided not to do it. Their motive was, I don't care, I know the rule and I'm not going to do it.
Well, just to give you an idea of how infrequently these are cited, everybody, the number 10 in serious had 1,124. The number 10 in willful had 9.
Yeah, I don't battle a lot of willful or repeated. Yeah. Thank God, because those are crazy expensive.
They just take whatever they could have cited and just put a 0 on it. They're just like,
if you're in a federal-run OSHA state, it's approximately $13,000 for that serious, but it could be $130,000 for the willful or repeated. Is that right?
Yeah, you're correct.
And I know you know the exact number.
It's $13,494.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What about for 2021?
That is the 2021.
Oh, okay,
number.
Cool.
Last year it was 13,290.
So they tacked a couple $100 more on there.
Yeah.
Huh? All right. So number 10 was what again?
Powered industrial truck, general industry with 9 willful violations.
That's 9 or 10?
That's number 10. It had 9 violations.
Okay. So somehow OSHA proved 9 times that an employer, could have been 9 different companies, or maybe they had a couple, but that they knew something was wrong with forklift and decided not to do that anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
You gave me an idea talking forklifts. Maybe it was like a maintenance record. Maybe they had a third-party company come in and say, hey, this forklift is no good.
Don't run it till we fix it.
And that was on their maintenance log. And then
They
a guy gets hurt.
it.
OSHA shows up. Yeah, dude, easy.
All right.
Number 9, with one more, was hazardous classified locations.
Interesting.
So it's hazardous locations in 1910.
I'm drawing a blank on that one.
I would have to
Is
Google
there a number?
1910.307. I suppose I could Google that standard and find out.
If we were live, somebody could help us out.
If you're listening to this, we really wish you would have been here.
I got asked today a number. I told my class, I said, you need a program. And they're like, where's that at? What number? I was like, give me a minute. So it's like, I looked, I found it, 1910.1200,
Okay, so this is a weird spot. This is a 307 standard, which didn't prick anything in the top of my brain, but what it says is that this area, the section covers the requirements for electrical equipment and wiring in locations that are classified depending on the properties of the flammable vapors, liquids, or gases, or combustibles that are flammable.
Makes sense. I've worked in those environments before in ethanol plants. They got buildings called emulsive buildings.
Okay.
Highly, they're basically distilleries. They're making like corn hard alcohol and ethanol plants.
So then that would be the hazardous environment, and somebody...
You had to have these intrinsically safe outlets, everything. Couldn't drive forklifts in there. Like, it was a hazardous location for sure. If you just drove your propane forklift in there.
Right, you could blow it up.
Or you just brought an extension cord in there and plugged something in and made that little spark.
That would be it.
It could be done.
So this employer's 10 of them, they obviously knew better, knew they shouldn't be doing something in these locations. OSHA didn't get specific, and they willfully violated some rules in those areas.
Which that one seems easy to prove willful.
Yeah.
Because if you have a big sign that says,
this is the location.
Yeah, and everybody knows it, and
Right.
they might have orientation material that talks about that's a dangerous location. There's just probably a lot of data that helps them prove it was willful.
Yeah, maybe they
I'm
needed
just
like
guessing.
those special static-proof suits, and the company wasn't buying them or something. Who knows?
All right, what's the next one?
This is weird. 7 and 8 were a tie. 6, 7, and 8 were all ties.
Okay.
So they had 11 violations each. So there's scaffolding construction, ladders construction, and the general duty clause, the OSH Act 1970, Section 5.
Wow, somebody got a willful on the OSH Act.
There'd been 11 willfuls on the OSH Act. So willfully endangering employees.
So OSHA caught an employer who had a dangerous situation,
Yeah,
but didn't have an actual regulation on it.
correct.
And so they cite him on the general duty clause. But in addition, they somehow proved that the employer knew it was dangerous and still did it. That sounds like I would kind of like to research those cases.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat. I wonder if we can just look them up specifically by the citation.
Yeah, those would probably be interesting.
But
All right.
it tied with scaffold and ladders. So
All right.
endangering people. Number 5 on the list was 16 was general industry machine guarding.
Okay.
Number 4, or you want to go into it?
Nah, we did. We talked a lot about
Number
machine
4
guarding already.
was lockout tagout, had 18.
Okay.
Number 3 went all the way up to 27. It was requirements for protective systems.
Okay, shoring.
Or the construction standard. And then number 2 was your permit required confined space, which we haven't seen on the list yet. There was 42 general industry permit required
Wow.
confined space.
They knew it was wrong
Yeah.
to enter that space without air monitoring or an attendant or
Or
training.
maybe even just do permit required
call and
confined space entry.
rescue. I don't think we've done a show on permit required confined space.
Nah, sounds like
We need to do a show.
there's a future in
Yeah.
permit required confined
25.
space. Be ready.
Okay.
All right, number 1 with, that's a jump. It went from 42 to 152. Fall protection, number 1. It's always
right.
number 1.
Yeah.
People dangling off of the edges of stuff is always number 1.
Okay.
But that was it, guys. That was both lists. That was the top 10 serious and top 10 willful. But we got more in store for you on this podcast.
Let's go crazy on top citation amounts.
Yeah. Well, we're not. Whoa,
And let's go.
that's a lot of money.
Let's go backwards again. Not like the right way, but let's wow them with like the most expensive citation of 2020.
Okay, so you just want me to start right off
Yeah,
the bat?
let's just do
biggest
it.
one. It was $1.997 million, almost
Million?
$2 million.
Okay. 1.997.
Yeah.
That seems weird.
So 1,997,000.
So that's basically 2 million.
Just about, yeah.
2
million.
million. Ask yourself this: could your company afford a $2 million bill?
Right. Well, I mean,
There
even
goes your
take that,
Christmas
like-
bonus, AJ.
Oh man, I knew it.
You just cost the company $2 million.
Yeah, there's no company.
You know.
we're out
Hey
of
boss,
business,
can I
guys.
get a raise? No.
Can I
Why
get
not?
a $2
You
million
cost us $2 million last year, Jack.
Hey,
I wonder if people named Jack are offended.
Jack.
You know, 'cause
That or maybe
that's
they
like
get excited.
That's like a name.
They're
you know,
like, "Hey,
what up? What up? Watch out, Jack."
So Jack.
All right,
By the
anyway.
way, Jackson, if you're listening, you're a good kid, and I hope Oregon's treating you well. Oregon is a place my friend Jack actually just recently moved to, so
Okay.
hopefully Jack's doing well out there.
All right, let's.
So the biggest for $2 million, it looks like.
Let me ask
let's
some
see.
questions. Why did OSHA come? What was the trigger?
The inspection trigger was a complaint.
Ooh, so check this out. Some disgruntled or really safety conscious valid employee, normally it's disgruntled, but saw a violation, a safety issue at their job, filed a complaint. OSHA actually followed up on it, and it resulted in a $2 million citation.
Man, it looks like it actually just spiraled out of control. So it started
right.
as a complaint, and then still in planned inspection, it says after the complaint, there was a planned inspection. and then a local emphasis program for fall hazards.
Okay, so back
all
to
of
fall
that,
protections.
all of that was in their inspection trigger.
What'd they end up getting? Like how many citations did they get to 2 million?
It says here OSHA conducted 5 investigations.
Whoa, that one went on a while.
Including hazards related to lack of fall protection. The initial citation was only $678,000, but they continued inspecting from 2013 and didn't finish their inspection until February 2020.
That's so messed up. Can you imagine going through 7 years of OSHA inspections?
Jeez. Major citations, they were cited for 13 serious, 12 repeat, and 8 willful violations.
Well, no wonder it's so much. How many repeats?
12 repeat and 8 willful.
So if you just did the math, 12 times 130,000, 8 times 130,000. I mean, maybe they got a deal. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like
math
they did,
is
actually.
your area over there.
Wow. That's a lot of numbers.
You don't have to do the math, but they might have got a little break even.
Yeah, it sounds like they actually got a little off. So
because that's not even the amounts for the serious ones.
No, they had 13 serious on top of that.
So they were fall protection related?
Yeah, it looks like most of them were fall protection. There's some mention of hearing protection is in ladder safety.
All right.
Oh, well, and they had failed to pay a previous citation and then were delinquent for multiple years. And then they just got re-inspected again. So
OSHA's
just
already
piling.
mad that they owed them money.
And they weren't paying it, and then they just kept re-inspecting.
Let me do the next one.
You want to do the next one?
Yeah. All right. So number 2 for 2020 on the most expensive ones was 1.591 million. So $1.5 million buckaroos.
Buckaroos.
This one was out of Illinois. It was a silicone chemical product manufacturer. Maybe I've used their products.
Ooh, producing silicone.
I use silicone.
Silicone is in everything.
Yeah, but especially like, in the caulking tubes,
Yeah.
I use a lot of that for the bathroom and kitchen and stuff like that.
So this may be a household name.
Well, this one's bad because the reason why OSHA got on these guys was not an employee complaint, but it was an actual fatality.
Ooh, that's really bad.
Which is crazy to note, though. $2 million and there was no fatalities.
Yep.
Here's $1.5 million and actually people died.
Yeah.
These guys got cited less and there was actually deaths.
That's
interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Looks like there was an explosion.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It killed 4 people.
Oh, my gosh.
And it says that OSHA found out that they failed to ensure electrical equipment and installations within the production area were compliant with the agency's electrical standards.
I wonder if that has anything to do with those willful violations.
I bet you, because that was that hazardous location.
Yeah, because I know when they cure and they process all those chemicals, it can be very volatile.
They got quotes on here, too.
Oh, no. All right, let's hear it. Give me a
let me give you the citations. They got hit for 12 willfuls.
Oof.
So no serious. Just straight up 12 willfuls.
And no repeats.
And they were placed in OSHA's severe violator enforcement program.
Which means they're going to keep getting inspected.
That's like bad.
Yeah.
Like
they're watching.
I'm thankful we don't have anybody
like they're listening. They're waiting for employee
in
complaints.
their severe violator enforcement program.
Yep.
That's like the bad insurance.
Yeah. It's a bad place to be.
When you're a bad driver and you got to pay that really expensive insurance.
Yeah. Basically, except now you have somebody who's going to follow you around. So
here's a quote from an acting OSHA regional administrator in Chicago named Nancy. She said, an employer's adherence to safety and health standards, including the proper use of electrical equipment and forklifts when handling flammable liquids, is critical to preventing fire, explosions, and other incidents that can seriously or fatally injure workers. Nancy's a well-spoken individual.
Yeah.
Sounds very smart.
She does.
She's the head of OSHA.
Way to get after him, Nancy.
Okay, so go ahead and hit us with number 3.
All right, number 3 on the list. Looks like it was just around $1 million.
Oh, only $1 million?
Only about $1 million. Ooh,
I got that one.
It was for roofing.
The residential?
Just says roofing. Let's see. I'll read on. Inspection trigger, just complaint.
Okay,
it was only investigated because of a complaint.
But, I mean, this is kind of the stuff that should scare employers. An employee complaint resulted in a $1 million fine.
It doesn't have to be an employee complaint.
Well, it could be referred.
Yeah.
Complaints are usually employees a referral by another safety agency like us. So say a company hired us to do something. We saw egregious, terrible stuff.
And we're like, dude.
We told them, and they're like, we just paid you to tell us what's wrong, not to give us your opinion. Get out of here. We ain't doing nothing. And we're like, but people could die. And they're like, shut up.
Shut up. Get out of here, dude.
And we call OSHA, which I've never done.
I've never done that as well.
I've never called OSHA on anybody.
But I've also never had anybody freak out on me like that yet.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and I hope I never have to. But
OSHA responded to complaints at 3 different job sites where employees were engaged in residential roofing activities without using fall protection. Since January 14 of 2020, OSHA had inspected that employer and its predecessor 19 times in the past 7 years.
They were on the list.
In their citations, OSHA cited the employer with 8 willful violations involving failure to protect workers from fall hazards. OSHA also placed on the company, placed them in a severe enforcement violation. And they also have a quote. This employer has an extensive OSHA history with willful, serious, and repeat violations that has demonstrated an egregious disregard for the safety of their workers. The employer continues to allow employees to work without fall protection and has made no reasonable effort to eliminate this risk, said Kurt from OSHA.
Oh, man.
He's mad, dude. He pulled out the big words.
Yeah.
Kurt was done with that.
All right. Well, let's not get into the rest of these. Let me just sound stupid on air here, and I'm going to try to read numbers. Next one was 60,000. No. See, I already messed up.
If it's 0.6, it's 600,000.
605,000 and oh man, I told you this was gonna be funny.
It's a little funny.
Read that number, AJ.
605,371.
605,000, yeah, 371. Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what you had. You said it like twice.
Yeah.
Why'd you make me?
And
read
the next one was here. You just read these.
This is $551,226.
In elementary school, when they covered how to read numbers, I was in in-school suspension.
You were in karate class.
No, I was in in-school suspension. I was a bad kid.
So, like, all of these middle-of-the-road ones, though, they're all, like, right at $500,000.
Okay.
Over and over and over, all these people get hit. 600,000, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000.
Wow.
497, 477,
What's
and
the
460.
cheapest one? The cheapest top 10.
460 was the last one.
460,000.
$460,000.
So how many employers want to throw away that kind of money?
That's insane.
Just because, here's the kicker. How many times have you heard? I'm one of those guys that is going to say that line. If I had a dime, might as well go rich though. If I had $100,
go big or go home.
Every time I heard an employer say, "Well, I know we need to be trained, Aaron, but that costs too much money. I know we need that PPE, but that costs too much money. It costs too much money to pull all my people out of production and provide that training. It costs too much money to provide all my people with that self-retracting lanyard or whatever we're saying they need. Money, 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 money. Costs too much money, costs too much money, costs too much money." But, and this is just the OSHA penalty.
Yeah.
This isn't the work comp premium increase. This isn't the civil lawsuits. This isn't the settlements. This isn't all the hidden costs associated with incidents and accidents. This is just the OSHA citation. But it actually costs you money to not be safe.
It does.
Yeah.
So I got a crazy one on this list for you that actually should be, it should be number 3.
Okay.
So this is nuts. And this was something I was talking about like a year ago. I don't know if you remember this, but I was telling you about this crazy OSHA citations coming across their bulletin board. The same company got hit twice in 2 different states. Same company for the same thing. It is a discount retailer. And the complaint was that employees were having boxes of stuff fall on them.
I already know this one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they were having boxes of stuff fall on them, and they were partially obstructing or fully obstructing emergency exit routes.
Yep, I remember this one.
Yeah, so
it was a national issue.
Yeah, one location got hit with over $500,000, and another location got hit with $477,000.
And this was a business that everything is about $1.
Yeah, approximations.
So they're gonna have to sell how many things?
Well, this is over $1 million.
So they got to sell 1 million things in their store.
Yeah. Well,
and not profit from that.
It would be all profit. It would be all profit. Otherwise, there'd be no cost. But yeah, they have to make $1 million to make this back up.
That's gonna.
And
so they're gonna have to sell
way more.
Yeah.
So many things.
Wow.
Yep. It was huge, and it's crazy that they came in on like 6th place and then again on 9th place.
We talk about that incident a lot in our forklift classes.
Yeah.
Because people got a pallet, they can't figure out where to put it. They're driving around. They're all mad, frustrated. They got other stuff to do. Well, that emergency exit's always open. Should
that
be.
Aisle, that
so
lane.
they just drop it right there, and then it's going about their business. And next shift, nobody changes it. Next shift, nobody changes it. Other people start stacking on top of it, in front of it, even
storage
more.
Or a break table.
And then OSHA comes in and goes, "What?"
Well, I know one of the other big reasons OSHA came in is because a big stack of boxes fell on a person and broke a bone.
Yeah, that's probably what triggered them to get there.
I mean, for crying
Does it
out
say
loud.
the trigger on that one?
Let's see. The first one says complaint.
Okay.
A location was found to have obstructed exit routes.
Okay, so employee complained.
Unstable stacks of merchandise and overstocked materials created the risk of a struck-by hazard.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the other trigger?
The other one also says complaint. Inspection uncovered various exit, storage, and fire hazards.
So it was a complaint too.
Yeah, listing in the past 2 fiscal years. So they've been going after these guys for several years in a row.
All right, cool. Well, everybody, we thank you for tuning in to the
yeah.
Evil Safety Dudes podcast, and we hope you got something out of today.
Oh, you know they did.
Join us next time. We got hazardous communication coming your way soon.
Our favorite thing.
Until next time, everybody, stay safe.